And on our Saturday panel today, well, we've got the band back together from the victory over Wales. It is the Murphys, all back once again. Jenny and Johne have joined us in studio. How are you?
Very good, very good.
Jenny, how are you? I have to ask every time. You're down to one crutch.
I'm down to one crutch. The brace is now off the knee. The ACL is still not in the best shape, as is the medial butcher. I'm hobbling with more mobility.
You do spend every day working with Bernard Brogan in your day job, so is there a little bit of a rivalry to see who can get back on the pitch first?
He's currently kicking my ass in terms of the rehab, and he's post surgery now and in good shape. So those.
Have you had your surgery?
Haven't had my surgery yet. Have to wait until the swelling's gone down a bit more. So I did a bit of a number on it. So I've been talking with another ACL recovery here as well, so I'm getting all the tips.
When did you get yours?
I did mine. I actually got misdiagnosed here in Ireland when I was playing for Leinster 21s, and then I did it again my first year in Leicester, and then it didn't attach, so I actually don't have an ACL. My left knee.
What do you have?
Nothing. I just don't have it. With the rehab that I did a lot of stuff, kind of Bill Knowles stuff. He's a kind of a American guru, and ended up I can get by. Austin Healy has no ACLs in either, and
wow.
Yeah, so some people can get away with it.
And do you have any pain there now?
I can tell when the cold weather is coming and stuff.
The last couple of weeks have been tough.
They haven't been great, but yeah, that's just part of the bone bruising and stuff. But yeah, no, I was saying to Jenny on the way in that on like my general week when I was playing, I would have had to have kind of 3 slots a week where I would have had to do my own rehab just to keep on top of it, just in case. So it can happen. I've just been very, very lucky that way.
Yeah, there is the option, and it was spoken about with Bernard Brogan, of not having the surgery. Did you have that option?
No, I didn't have that option. My medial went as well, and it was more a trauma injury as opposed to like a twist. So had a look at the results in the MRI, and it was fairly definite. No, you're going under the knife. So ruled out any other options.
It'll teach you not to step away from the professional game for a year again.
Yeah,
first time you do it, bad injury.
Yeah, smart move on my part.
So we're going to talk Ireland, Scotland, and all going well, who knows, Ireland could well have won the championship by tonight if they get the bonus point win over Scotland, and England don't manage to do that against France. Ireland could go to Twickenham with the championship already in the bag. Maybe I am getting carried away. Am I getting carried away by that possibility, Johnny?
I don't think so. It is. I think today's going to be a really high scoring game. Both teams, I think, showed the last weekend what their multi-phase attack is. The try scoring capability that Scotland have out wide is probably the biggest worry for Ireland. So I do think there are going to be plenty of scores, but it's going to be tight. I think it is a serious possibility. All right, yeah.
Jenny, would you prefer to play outside Finn Russell or Johnny Sexton?
Johnny Sexton every day of the week. Finn Russell, he's a really exciting player to watch. Some of the passes that he gets away, I don't know how many times I've watched that gif of that Russell just loft pass over Jonathan Joseph. It was absolutely phenomenal. Just even the ability to see that was on, amazing. But the consistency that you get with Jonathan Sexton and how he controls the game, he's an absolute general when it comes to overall gameplay. You'd want him on the inside every day of the week.
Would a character like Finn Russell, Johnny, would he drive you mad? If he doesn't know what he's going to do next, how are you meant to know what he's going to do next? Yeah,
he's a bit of a maverick in that regard, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on. The players outside him don't really know what's going to happen or how he's going to play. And that showed in his first 2 performances. They weren't great, and then he was nearly man of the match in terms of how he played, and his distribution was just unbelievable the other day. He's been getting a lot of stick in kind of the Scottish and English press about his move to Racing, and that as part of the deal he wanted a white Lamborghini and all this kind of stuff. So he's that kind of guy, and that's for me is a worry, because he's very much a confidence player, and he'll try things just because he feels he can do them. And as Jenny said, that pass was incredible. But yeah, Johnny is, for me, he's a couple of steps ahead of Finn, all right.
But if you look at any team in world rugby who might be able to counter a player like Finn Russell, are Ireland the team right now that they're so well structured, they're Okay, in open play, maybe defensively there have been some problems, but generally, if you ask a player to target somebody, if you go out today and target Finn Russell, Ireland have the players capable of doing that job.
Yeah, I think they probably have the capability of suffocating a side and really frustrating a side in terms of how comfortable they are on the ball, and not giving Finn Russell an opportunity to show that maverick side, because they're just so comfortable in multi-phase, and their multi-phase attack is top notch. So yeah, they will be able to get after him and deprive him of ball, but he doesn't need that very many. He doesn't need a whole lot of opportunities. If he pulls out a pass like that, and that is the biggest thing that for me is the worry going into the match, is that they have been exposed out wide. They were exposed out wide last year, and it's something that is very much Scotland's strength.
It does feel as though we know what we're going to get from Ireland, Jenny. As Johnny was touching on, we don't really know what we're going to get from Scotland, how they respond to that win over England. So maybe Finn Russell, his entire career kicks on to another gear, because the confidence, he's just destroyed the old enemy, he's just produced one of the great Scottish performances, and this turns him into a permanently world-class player. Or it all goes to his head and he tries things that he's not really capable of, and Ireland just pick them off at ease.
We see even the fact that we're having this conversation, it could go like swing extreme one way or the other, just shows how inconsistent Scotland are. And Finn Russell at times, when Wales put massive line speed and pressure, he underperformed and was absolutely terrible. Credit to Gregor Townsend for, I don't know what he did, but basically telling him, no, just keep doing what you're doing, gave him the backing, and you see that he played like a player with confidence, throwing some of the passes that he did against England. But I think Scotland away from home they're just too inconsistent. Their last 9 out of 10 games in Murrayfield they've won, but away from home their scores sheet is like very shaky. And coming into the Aviva Stadium now, it'll be on a high. First time they've won the Calcutta Cup in 10 years, but this is going to be something different. They're not going to have that lovely Flower of Scotland blasting around Aviva like it is at home. So they're going into the Lions' Den.
Yeah, is away from home where you really get a proper sense of the character of a team?
Yeah, you don't win Six Nations unless you can get away wins. Ireland have shown that, like with some great wins away from home. England have done it last year as well, maybe not in the Viva, which was nice, but Scotland just haven't done that yet. Lovely to watch when they're on home ground, and they're an exciting team no matter where they are. But it's just, again, that kind of, you're nearly like, one of my best friends is Scottish and he's holding his chair the whole time, stressing out about it. And there was exciting, tense moments in the Irish-Wales game, but at the same time there was definitely a calmness there where I was watching with you that, no, this is fine, they're going through, there's a plan here. And sometimes when you're looking at Scotland play and how Finn Russell plays, sometimes you'll even see the forwards, I don't think they know what Finn plans on doing next either, which is, it's not what you want to do. So I think, with Sexton, you know exactly what you're going to get. And Conor Murray the same. They're the linchpins of this rugby team, Irish rugby team going forward. So I'm banking Ireland on getting a win. We
did have Gavin Hastings in studio earlier in the week, and he was saying how Gregor Townsend and Finn Russell are very much cut from the same cloth, and that must give Russell a lot of confidence as well, that he has a manager and he has a coach who backs him, that he's, albeit inconsistent, he doesn't seem as though he's looking over his shoulder all the time thinking, if I make a mistake, I'm going to be dropped. Yeah,
I think Gregor, the word from any person that I've spoke to that has ever been under Gregor, I'd say that he's very much a player-led coach in terms of a skill development, and he'll give you the opportunities to make decisions yourself. And if something is on and it doesn't come off, he nearly takes that himself and says, well, that's my fault because it's a skill development, it's a skill error, not not an effort error or anything like that. So he does.
It's a very risky way of and I know you do a lot of coaching now. Is that not it reminds me of Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool when a defender would make a mistake playing it out the back, and he would say, that's my fault, I'd attach no blame, I asked them to do it, I'm going to take that risk. But ultimately you've still conceded the goal. Yeah,
but that's part of your thought process as a coach. What way do you want to be? Do you want to be structured, or do you want to give players the license to play, or give them a generic structure and let them play? So that's a decision that you have to make over time. And that's his philosophy. So, and he's been very, very successful with it. I think the trust that he shows in guys like that in Finn Russell means that he is very much, that's the way he's nailed his colours to the mast in that. But inside Finn Russell, you probably have one of the coolest customer in terms of Greg Laidlaw, and he's very controlled, quite slow in terms of what he does. So that gives them a good balance at that. I say they got very good direction at 9, and then at 10 you just have that kind of Carlos Spencer just let's play. But it's kind of, it's not I suppose it's very much a defining game for Scotland in terms of where they're going. If they can back up the performance away from home, then they are genuine contenders. Obviously contenders for this Six Nations, but in terms of the run-in into next year's World Cup, which is what everyone is really looking at, that they can be genuine contenders. Where if they don't put in a performance, and it's very much it's like Wales, then you're kind of going, look, they're one-off performances, and you need to be aware of that. But consistency, they're always going to struggle.
Yeah, maybe I'm misguided to think that the win isn't everything for Scotland today, but it does feel as though actually getting a performance and even running Ireland close, being in there when there is 5-10 minutes left, will be a real sign of progress for Gregor Townsend.
Yeah, massive, and that will give them a huge amount of belief. If they can push towards the last 4 or 5 minutes and have an opportunity, and Ireland hold out, hopefully, but that will give them, they'll learn a huge amount. They know where they can develop, and that makes them a very, very dangerous team going forward. Where if they just don't rock up and they put in a performance, as I said already, like Wales, then you're like, well, that
was a flash in the pan 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You certainly wouldn't say that Ireland aren't a structured side, and Joe Schmidt on Thursday at his press conference was a little bit frustrated with some of the criticism, saying you need to do your homework, you need to look at the statistics, and he can look at the try count and the amount of tries Ireland have scored and say that Jacob Stockdale is the leading try scorer in the tournament. Keith Earls has been one of the players of the tournament so far, that we are getting our wingers involved, we are playing some creative attacking play, but with Andy Dunn in, and I think Andy feels that eventually Ireland's style is going to come back and bite them in the ass, that they're simply not creating enough. Like, is the means to an end enough for Ireland right now, bulldozing through teams? It works. Should we stick with that, or should we be looking for a bit more freedom for the back line?
Well, I think you have to kind of, your game plan changes from week to week, and whoever you're facing. Yeah, personally, maybe this kind of brunt force. We've got massive ball carriers now that maybe we wouldn't have as many on the team a couple of years ago. See the likes of someone like Porter, James Ryan coming in, like Stockdale, Chris Farrell. Even though I think Chris Farrell, like, massive pity that he's managed to injure himself as well, but he's so much more than like a strong, like, blunt force trauma runner. We can use that to our advantage against Northern Hemisphere teams and the likes of Wales. It worked, but come World Cup time, I don't think that's going to be an area that we're going to kind of want to use. But like at the moment, we have these players that can do that job well. Why not use their strengths? Like Bundyaki as well. That's what he's good at. Let's not like push these players outside their skill comfort level. I'm not saying that they can't do that, but let's use what they're good at in the teams that we face. And I think against Scotland, it probably won't be the tactic that we'll be going for as much as we did against Wales. Wales were, and it worked at the start. I don't know why they kind of stopped. They went for that aerial ball all the time, and like at kick-off they got massive gains from it, and then it kind of, they just pulled away a little bit. But yeah, I'm happy to see them running out, because it's getting momentum. It's maybe not the most exciting thing to watch at the moment, but yeah, like Stockdale's like crossing the whitewash fair few times for someone with so little caps.
8 tries, 7 caps isn't a bad ratio to start your international career. No. Ireland don't seem to have any problem building through the phases, but quite often they're small gains, they're a yard or two here and there, and a lot of pundits have been pointing out that our opposition are getting a third of the ball, 33%, but they're able to do huge damage. And maybe one of the reasons that it's so energy absorbing going through those phases, that actually when the opposition gets it, they're quite fresh. Often they're not even contesting the ruck, they're letting us at it, and then they're fresh and we're bloody wrecked. And that's one of the reasons that we're conceding so many tries. Would you go along with that?
I think our transition D is probably something that needs to it probably needs to, something that they have, I think, will have definitely worked on. And by transition I mean is trying to, after a turnover or simply just if the ball gets turned over a line out, or anything, that you transition, you hold them out for 3-4 phases. But being quicker off the mark there, getting set first, getting your line speed, getting around the corner, and especially in those wider channels, I think the big issue that they've struggled with is probably their fold. Their fold probably hasn't come quick enough.
What do you mean by that?
So after a carry, you need to get, it depends on where it is in the park, that 2 or 3, possibly 4 will fold around the corner into just outside pillar 2-3 or whatever they want to call it, and that means that you can get length of your line and you can come forward rather than being on your heels and drifting out, which can create where people need to think individually. Then, do I come in here, do I try and stop the ball? And that's where we're getting stung at the moment in the wider channels.
When they are thinking individually, then are they making the wrong decisions?
It's just a decision that you have to make in the moment. If you stop the ball, it's a good decision. If the ball manages to get past you, then you're in trouble. So it's just, they're stressed. So you're making a decision under stress that sometimes can lead to an error, and that's just because it's coming from a tackle first that they get go forward ball. We don't slow down the breakdowns, so then it's very hard for those 2-3 guys to fold around the corner into position quick enough, and then we're just getting caught in that 13 wing channel. Where
is that not something that's pre-planned? Is that not something that Andy Farrell has worked on?
Oh, it is, yeah, but it's based on speed of ball. If you can't control the speed of ball, then it's going to be impossible to get around the corner, and that's what Wales did. Even though Ireland looked so comfortable in terms of their multi-phase attack, and it did, as Jenny said, it did look live. It actually looked easy for Ireland at times. Johnny Sexton had time to organise 2, 3, sometimes 4 phases ahead in multi-phase. But then when there was a turnover or Wales got quick ball, they were just under so much stress because it was so quick that they couldn't get their fold around into place. And that's just, so you need to fix it at source, be it slow their first phase ball down or get someone over the ball, and then just try and make sure that guys get around the corner quicker so you can build those connections.
Is that then particularly the key today against Scotland, to slow that first phase ball down? Does that stop everything?
It's
with
easier
Scots?
said than done, though. Like Scotland, like Ross Barkley had an outstanding game against England, and it was quick ball all the time, and then his steals at the breakdown, like 2 turnovers in Scotland 22 resulted in a try. Counter-attack is what Scotland are good at, especially when you've got someone like Stuart Hogg orchestrating and the back line too. So I think, as well as that, not only are they the fold, they're scrambling in the defence, or sometimes they overcommit on the blind side when they're folding. That 13 channel and outside, there seems to be like a little bit of a miscommunication or maybe no communication at all. Like when you think of it, Stockdale, he's got so much inexperience and he's such a strong player, and defensively there's some bits that he needs to work on. A lot of the time when you're looking at him, his shoulders are kind of turned in towards the play, and it's almost like he sometimes doesn't trust the 13 to make that tackle, and so he bites, and as a result of him kind of taking that inside line, there's space out wide. So it's, I think, but like again, that's something that can be easily fixed. You've got the likes of Andy Farrell in there, like that's going to be sorted. Someone like Rob Kearney kind of yelling at you and giving you kind of advice or like chatting behind you is going to be good too. I think it's just a matter of them playing together more as well.
I think that's a big thing. They've been very unfortunate that their key decision maker defensively, they haven't had a run of games together. And
this is the 26th different centre partnership that Joe Schmidt has had.
Yeah, but it's not. I don't think it's actually the centre partnership. Okay. It's the centre wing partnership that probably is letting us down, and that's just a matter of different defensive systems. And then, as Jenny said, getting your chat correct all the time. So it can be tough there that you can't build that consistency with your 13 in terms of wing, because you always know what he's going to do. Like throughout your career, you pick up, you know what guys are going to do. Like I always knew that if Earlsey was inside me, he had enough gas to catch anyone, so I never needed to turn my shoulders when I was on the wing. Same with different guys. I knew that.
So Stockdale, the last time, rushing the line, taking that step forward, a more experienced centre, someone who's a better relationship, maybe knows that Stockdale's inexperienced and is likely to do that, and is in his ear 2 seconds beforehand saying hold.
Exactly, or knows that if he does come out of the line that he can duck underneath and actually fill his space out wide. So it's just and that's just reps. Like you can't get that, and that's a big thing that unfortunately for Ireland, even though their 13s have played extremely well, they haven't been able to build proper combinations with the guys outside them.
We're here with Air, the home of Air Sport. Get amazing live sporting content free with Air Broadband on our Saturday panel. It is Jenny Murphy and Johnny Murphy. We're looking ahead to the big kick-off, 2:15, Ireland against Scotland at the Aviva Stadium. Gary Ringrose then is the player who gets his chance. It's been a stop-start season from, he's had so many injuries, particularly with the shoulder problem, just 6 games so far, where understandably for a young player he's just trying to find a little bit of form. Now he's probably still haunted in ways by what happened at Edinburgh last year. Is there any risk involved, or is it, when you look at all the centres that are missing, he really has no choice but to go with Gary Ringrose?
I think it's one of the ones where he plays because he was the one of the 3 that we were talking about. What way is it going to work when everyone's fit? Is it going to be Bundyaki? Is it going to be Henshaw? Is it going to be Ringrose? Or what combination are they going to look at? So the quality, there's no doubt in his quality. It probably like that. He's been fit now for kind of 3-4 weeks, so I don't think there's going to be an issue in terms of conditions. But like that, it's those it's that rustiness around your defensive sets. But I think the intensity in Carton House in terms of their training sessions and all that's going to be as high a quality, as high a stressing situation as the match is going to be. So he would have got a huge amount of reps there. So yeah, look, I think it is a necessary change, but in terms of quality, I don't think we're losing anything.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on it, Jenny?
Like, pretty much same. Ringrose is an absolute class act, just been rife with injury unfortunately for the last while, but he's somebody that is so good at what he does that he is able to slot in. He knows Joe Schmidt's system. He's played with these guys before, and again, like John said, they will run him, and he will be up to game pace by this evening. So
yeah,
I'm excited to see him back in a green jersey as well. It's going to be a nice battle between him and Hugh Jones. Yeah. I think Hugh Jones has been one of probably the best players in Scotland's back line, and when you consider the lines that they have, that's kind of saying something. And again, someone that came out of nowhere, so that's probably the battle that I'm looking forward to the most today.
So much of the build-up has been around Sexton, Russell, the Scottish back line, where ultimately it's probably going to be won by the Irish pack, who are, from everything we've seen, far superior to this Scottish pack. Yeah,
I think, yeah, on paper, yeah, you look at that, but then you look at as Jenny sort of said, Barkley, he has been one of the standout performers in the Pro 14 for Pro 12 last year and Pro 14 this year, and his consistency levels at Scarlets are just off the charts. His, the turnovers he gets, and just the nuisance he is at the breakdown.
Well, he got away with absolute murder against England in the breakdown. Is he a smart enough guy that he realises there's no way Wayne Barnes is going to let him away with that and takes a different approach?
Yeah, because he's a senior player. He knows what he'll find out in terms of the first 5 minutes in the context of the game what way Wayne Barnes is going, and then he'll make decisions around that. So you would think that the power of the Irish pack is probably going to be able to blow them away, but you just, with someone with the smarts of Barkley, it's just it does hang in the balance a small bit for me there. I think in terms of a back row, if Ireland can shut him down both attackingly and defensively, then I think that's probably going to be a bigger thing than in terms of their scramble D against someone like Stuart Hogg.
Yeah, there's a lot of statistics available from the last 2 games as to how the game went in the breakdown in favour of Ireland and in favour of Scotland, but then Nigel Owen seemed to come down in favour of Scotland for everything, and Wales didn't really contest the breakdown. So it is hard to know exactly, Jenny, how it's going to develop today.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but then Ireland in the breakdown, they're good. They're a strong rucking team. England were so indisciplined, and they didn't commit numbers to the rucks, or when they did, it was too late. You had Chris Robshaw coming in 2 seconds after Barkley had already clamped his hands down on the ball. You're not going to move him. He's unshiftable once he's got his hands on the ball. So Ireland, that's not going to happen for them. I think it was something crazy, 4 penalties Ireland gave away in the Wales game.
Yeah.
That's an insane number. It's absolutely ridiculous. You'll be aiming for, I know for us, we kind of aiming for maybe below 8, and that's on a really good day. 4, phenomenal. So I think, yeah, with this ref, we've kind of clashed heads a little bit, and maybe Irish fans aren't delighted that he's going to be reffing today, but like Ireland are a disciplined team. Joe Schmidt has built them that way.
Yeah.
Scotland aren't going to get those penalties or those let-offs that England let them have.
And I think that is playing Wayne Barnes is actually very, very important. He's the lead English referee probably, but a couple of Irish provinces throughout the year have had issues already with English referees, and then vice versa, the English clubs have had problems with Pro 14 referees because they're reffed in different ways, and the game is very, very different in England and to the Pro 14. So there are different thought processes and different interpretations around the ruck area, and that's a big, big thing that Ireland need to get right today.
What's your prediction?
Ireland by 8.
Bonus point?
No, I'll just stick with Ireland by 8.
Jenny?
I'm gonna say Ireland bonus points.
Just leave it at that.
The Irish bonus point, yeah.
Alright, great stuff. Jenny Murphy, Johnny Murphy, thanks again for joining us in studio. That's our Saturday panel done for today. We're going to take a very quick break, and then we're going to be going live to the Viva Stadium. We're going to check in with Gavin Duffy.